All right, let's jump right in. Today we're going to talk about a hidden force, something that's all around you every single day. It explains everything from why a sharp knife works to, well, why a thumbtack does what it does. And the best part? It all comes down to one really simple, really powerful idea. So let's get into it.
First off, a question for you. Have you ever noticed how the same push, like the exact same amount of effort, can feel completely different? I mean, depending on how you apply it. Just think about that for a second. Why is that?
Okay, let's do a quick little experiment. You can even do this right now. Imagine pressing down on a table. First, use your whole palm. It feels, well, pretty gentle, right? The force is kind of spread out. Now, use the exact same push, but just with the tip of one finger. Whoa, suddenly it's a sharp, really focused feeling. Same force, but a totally different result.
So what's going on here? It's not some kind of magic trick. It's actually a core concept in physics. See, the difference you feel isn't just about the force you're using. It's about something else, something more.
And that something is called pressure. At its heart, it's a beautifully simple idea. Pressure is just the amount of force you apply over a specific area. It's the crucial link, you know? It connects the push you make with the surface it's actually pushing on.
So, here's the key takeaway. We always think about how hard we're pushing, the amount of force. But you know what? That's only half the story. That total force is just one part of the whole equation.
The secret ingredient, the thing that really changes everything, is the area of contact. In other words, how spread out or how concentrated that push is. This is what really determines what happens next.
And this brings us right back to our first little test. With your palm, that force was spread out over a pretty big area. And the result? Well, the pressure on any single point was actually really low. That's exactly why it felt so gentle. But then, with your fingertip, you took that exact same force and you focused it all down onto one tiny little spot. And that incredible concentration of force, it creates immense pressure. It's pretty much the same reason a needle is so sharp.
Now, what's so cool about physics is that we can describe this whole relationship with a really simple, almost elegant formula. It's the one rule that governs everything we've just been talking about.
And here it is. Pressure equals force divided by area. That's it. This little formula perfectly captures what you now kind of feel intuitively. If you keep the force the same, but you make that area on the bottom of the fraction smaller and smaller, what happens? The final number for pressure gets much, much bigger. Okay, so we've got the theory down. Let's see how this actually works in the real world. We can apply it to something you probably use all the time, a simple kitchen knife.
So why does a sharp knife slice right through a tomato while a dull one just kind of squishes it? You guessed it, it is all about pressure. A sharp knife takes all your pushing force and concentrates it onto a microscopic edge, a super tiny area. This creates an enormous amount of pressure, enough to slice right through. A blunt knife, it just spreads that same force over a wider edge, so you get low pressure and a squished tomato.
It all really just boils down to this one simple mantra. Same force, smaller area, higher pressure. That's the whole game. So, look, this isn't just some neat physics trick about your fingers and kitchen knives. Once you really get this principle, I promise, you'll start seeing it absolutely everywhere. It's one of those fundamental rules for how our entire physical world works. I mean, really think about it. Why do snowshoes stop you from sinking into deep snow? Why can someone wearing high heels leave little dents in a wooden floor? It is all the same idea. So my question for you is this. Now that you know the secret, where else do you see this hidden force at work in your world?